I'm Dan Steininger, and I'd like to share with you how creativity may very well have saved my life when I contracted COVID 19, and more importantly, how my story can help you save your life if you ever contract this terrible disease. It all started back in early 2020 when most doctors and even the CDC did not fully understand how to diagnose COVID 19 and how to treat it. I got some symptoms which were very unusual. I went to walk-in clinics several times, and the doctors consistently concluded I had a sinus infection and treated me accordingly. But I wasn't getting better. I eventually took a COVID 19 test and found out I was negative. At that point, I began to worry because something wasn't right. So I put in play the creativity tools that I've used all my life and started doing my own homework and my own research, and eventually concluded I need to turn myself into a hospital. So I went to the ER room, and sure enough, they put me on the COVID floor. And then that night, the very first night I was in, I was visited by a doctor, and I sort of want to call him the Grim Reaper because he said, look, your oxygen levels are so low, we may have to put you in the IC unit tonight. And I said, okay, you've got to do what you got to do. But he said, the problem is most people do not come out alive. That got my attention, especially when he asked for a phone number to call for a life-saving or life-ending decision. So I was thinking maybe I shouldn't give him my wife because she might say, hey, it's time to part company. But in fact, I gave him her number, and I know she would have said yes. But I gave him the wrong number, so she spent a night worrying about me when it was useless. Anyhow, I did recover, but when I got out of the hospital several weeks later, things they gave me, like the oxygen unit, didn't even work, and I was having trouble breathing. So the tools of creativity helped me survive that ordeal, and I can share more with you. But let's step back and ask ourselves, if we ask the average American, or anyone for that matter, who is creative? People will usually respond, well, musicians or artists, perhaps the geniuses of our age, Steve Jobs or Elon Musk. But most people will agree that creativity is something you're born with. But in fact, creativity is a learned skill. Everyone can learn it. You can learn it. I've learned it. And you can help you use creativity to navigate the challenges of life. What I do is try to share with you this, what I call the secret sauce of creativity, how to transform yourself into a very creative person. It involves all sorts of things. For example, how to practice solitude and being alone with yourself, how to daydream, even sleep, how to employ humor. And humor is important because it moves you from the analytical side of your brain to the right hemisphere, which is the source of most creativity. More importantly, creativity applies not just to us as people, because most of us are here because our ancestors did something right to help us survive. Creativity helped them survive. But it also helps business organizations, or any entity for that matter, survive. I read a column for one of the major business publications called Innovate or Die, because any organization that doesn't innovate is out of existence. And if you were, for example, if you were in the map making business, you were in trouble if you didn't gravitate toward GPS because it's replaced maps. What I address is the fact that all creativity begins with a problem, a challenge that you face. Some of you may have mountain climbed. I have my mountain hike. But when you get to a mountain or a major obstacle, you either navigate it by going around it, over it, or maybe going away from it. But if you don't navigate that mountain, you're stymied. Well, mountains are those daily problems and challenges we all face. And they may be epic, they may be small, but in all instances, it's our ability to be creative that helps us navigate those everyday challenges. The book I've written is called Moving Mountains Every Day, because those are the things that challenge us, and it's the creative people in life who do the best in navigating those daily challenges and problems. What's so important about the tools of creativity is that you can use those in almost everything. Whether you decide you want to move or should decide, whether you should move to a different career, maybe how to navigate personal relationships, or whether you should take up a new activity, whether it be a sport or a cultural engagement like learning to play a piano, or maybe even the decision to retire. All of those challenges, all those things that come along in our life or a health crisis, require creativity to navigate to a solution. And I think the most important part is, as you use those tools, you take the joy in having solved a challenge and the joy that comes with being a creative person. So, I'm happy to share more with you either in person or through Zoom, or with a group that you may want to put together, or at a company that you may work at, because I am on a mission to make sure that the people in the world are more creative and experience the joy of being a more creative person. So I will put my contact information at the end of this clip, and hopefully you will reach out, because I look forward to meeting with you and sharing my enthusiasm and knowledge of what can make your life so much more interesting, challenging, and rewarding. So thanks, and I look forward to hearing from you.